Hello students, welcome back to my class. This is probably the last lecture for your computer programming in C. So in today's lecture we will be discussing about recursive functions and call by value and call by reference, and also we will see some programs which are necessary for your practicals as well as for your exams. Okay, so first of all let us have a look at recursion. So the process in which a function calls itself is called recursion, right? The process in which a function calls itself is called recursion. So recursive functions can be effectively used to solve problems where solution is expressed in terms of successively applying the same solution to subsets of the problem. Okay, so let me explain what it means. So all of you had done from your higher secondary knowledge, you remember this thing, that factorial n can be written as n multiplied with factorial of n minus 1, right? Okay, so here this factorial is a function, right? So to find out factorial n, we are again using the function factorial itself, right? So this type of things is called recursion. In fact, we will see one example where we will be finding out factorial using this recursion. So what is happening is that inside the function definition, you will again get a function call to the same function. Okay, so such a function where the function calls itself is called recursion. Okay, so when we write recursive functions, we must have an if statement, okay, somewhere to force the function to return without the recursive call being executed. Okay, otherwise what will happen? The function will never return. Okay, if it keeps on calling itself every time, then it will never return, or it will never stop the execution of the program. Okay, so our program may go into an infinite loop. So that is why in recursive functions there must be an if statement. Okay, some condition has to be given, the condition under which the recursion should stop. Okay, so let us have a look at the program that we have written. So this is, yeah, not this recursion, this is the program, sorry. Okay, this program, you may note it down, a program to compute the factorial of a number using recursion. Okay, so we have already done programs to compute the factorial using functions, right? So here also we will be using function, but we will use a special function, that is the recursion. Okay, recursive function. So we define this, since factorials are very large numbers, so we take this type as long int. Okay, long int fact int. Okay, it will take integer input and it will give you the output as long int. Okay, so enter n, scan f %d %n, then it will print %d factorial equal to %ld. Okay, %ld is the format specifier of long int. Okay, so n and factorial n. So this is the function call fact n, here is the function call. Okay, so when we call this function, the value of n, a copy of the value of n will be passed to this value, that is m. Okay, so if you just recall, this n is called a actual parameter and this m is the formal parameter of the function. Okay, so here we are using a if statement. If m is 0, then you return 1, the function will return 1, else what happens, it will return m into factorial m minus 1. Okay, so suppose you take n as 3, so initially it will check whether 3 is 0 or not. So 3 is non-zero, so it will return 3 into factorial 3 minus 1, that is 3 into factorial 2. But fact2 is again a call to the this function factorial. So again the value of m will be taken as 2. So since 2 is non-zero, again it will return 2 into factorial 1. So ultimately what it is returning, 3 into, so it's returning something like this. Let me just write it here. So initially suppose m is 3, so 3 star fact 2. Okay, but again fact 2 will be called, so this will be 3 star fact 2 will be again 2 star fact of 1. Okay, this is what is happening, and then again it will be 3 star 2 star, but what is fact 1? Fact 1 is Oh yeah, in fact we can give here if m is 1, okay, then we can return 1. So if fact1 will be directly 1, okay, right? So this can be done, right? So this is what is happening, okay. So the function is calling itself, okay. So let us see how it runs, right? Control Q. Okay, suppose enter the number n, so factorial 5 is 120, okay. Factorial n is say 9, so it's 362880, right? 7 is 5040, okay. So this is how the program runs. So please try to do this program, right? Okay, next let us see the call by value and call by reference, okay. So what is that? Okay, sorry, it's call by value and call by reference. Okay, so just let us see. So this is the one, call by value and call by reference, okay. So in order to use a user defined function, we need to call the function in the program where it is used, okay. So we have already seen. So a function can be called by simply using the function name followed by a list of actual parameters, okay. All these things I had discussed in the earlier lectures also, if any, included within parentheses. The actual parameters in the function call must match the function's formal parameters in type, order and number, okay. And multiple function is called multiple actual parameters must be separated by commas, okay. So this system of calling a function is called call by value, okay. So when a function is called by value, only the copies of the actual parameters are passed to the function, okay. So any change made in the corresponding formal parameters inside the function does not make any change in the values of the actual parameter, okay, in the main function, okay. In one of the earlier programs I had already mentioned this and I had demonstrated that, okay. Yeah, so the process of, so when we call a function by value, then any change made in the formal parameters, that doesn't make any change in the values of the actual parameters, okay. But the process of calling a function using pointers, okay, pointers is some type of or some concept in C which is not there in our course, okay. We will be using pointers only for this particular program, okay. So for the time being you don't worry about this. The process of calling a function using pointers to pass the addresses of the actual parameters, okay, is known as call by difference. So instead of passing the values of the copies of the values, we pass the actual address means the address of the memory location. Any variable is stored inside the computer in some memory location, okay. So those memory locations, they have some addresses through which we refer to those locations, okay. So if we pass the address of the actual parameters to the functions, then this process is called call by reference, okay. So in such a call, any changes made in the formal parameters can bring change in the actual parameters, okay. Thus call by reference provides a mechanism by which the function can change the stored values in the calling function, okay. So we will see what happens here. Wait, so let us say this. Say program to swap the values of two variables, okay. Swap means interchange the values of two variables using call by reference, okay. So we use this function, swap function here. So you see something special which we haven't used so far. Void, it's a function which will not return any value, right? Swap is the name of the function. It will accept arguments of the type int star, okay. That means it will accept addresses of the variables, okay. Those are, so this star represents pointer variable, okay. So the inputs of this function are pointer variables, okay. So it will accept address those ampersand x, okay. This will be passed, right? So this function will accept addresses of the variables, right? So let us see how this program runs. So we define two integers x and y, then we take them as input, okay, enter x and y, and then we will print the original values. Okay, after that we will call this function swap ampersand x ampersand y. So here please you observe the difference. In the earlier programs we had just passed the values, that is say sum a comma b in finding out sum of two variables, right, fact n. Okay, we have not written ampersand n, right, but here we are passing the address of the variable x. Okay, what is the address of x? It is ampersand x. Okay, scanf percent d ampersand x, that means the value of x is stored in the memory location denoted by ampersand x. Okay, so we are passing the memory location, actual memory location of the actual parameters. Okay, so swap ampersand x ampersand y. So printf swapped values equal to x ampersand percent d y percent d xy. Okay, so here I have not made yx. Okay, it's xy only. So you will see that the values of x and y are interchanged. Okay, so this is the function definition, void swap int star a, that means it represents that this will accept a pointer variable, address of the variable. Okay, this represents that it will accept a pointer variable. So here we are using a temporary variable t, and so this is the code for swapping, which I had already explained in the earlier programs. In the program for this sorting an array in ascending descending order. Okay, how to swap the values, right? So we use a third variable, temporary variable. So t will take the value stored at the location ampersand x. Okay, and the value stored at the location ampersand x will take the value stored at the location ampersand y, right, and the value stored at the location ampersand y will again take the value of t. Okay, so this is how this swapping occurs. Okay, so temporarily we will keep the value of star a in t, then star a will take the value of star b, and then star b will take the value of t. Okay, value of 2 means value of t is the value of star a. Okay, so this is how the swapping occurs, right? So let us see what happens. Dot slash program 50 reference. Okay, suppose enter x and y 5 and 6. So original values of are 5 and 6, x equal to 5, y equal to 6. Swapped values x equal to 6, y equal to 5. Okay, say 1 0. So original values are 1 0, swapped values are 0 1. Okay, and this is what is happening. So see, if we do not give star here, what happens? Let us see. If we do not give star here, so let us compile this. See, there is some problem in the, because there is a type mismatch. Expected integer, but argument is of type int star. Okay, because we have in the call we have given ampersand x, so it will this is a pointer variable. Okay, so the in the function definition also, or function prototype declaration also, this should match. This should not be integer, it should be a pointer variable. Okay, so that's why these are important. So we have to give int star and int star here, right? So this is the call by reference. Okay, now let us see some more programs. I think this program we had already seen, program 53. To find this mean and standard deviation. So in the last lecture we had already done this. Okay, so let us see another program. So gedit program 44 function. Yeah, okay, this program to print Pascal's triangle up to a desired level. Okay, how to print the Pascal's triangle. So all of you know what is that, the binomial coefficients. Okay, the list of binomial coefficients, right? So we need to print something like 1 1 1 1 2 1, like that. Okay, we need to print those values. Okay, so what do we need to print? We need to print this 1, then it should be 1 1, then it should be 1 2 1. Okay, 1 3 3 1. Okay, like that. 1 4 6 4 1. Okay, like that. These are the binomial coefficients. So we need to write a program which will print this binomial coefficients. Okay, so let us see how this happens. Okay, so int n r. So we will make use of the factorial function to compute the binomial coefficients. Factorial n by factorial r into factorial n minus r. NCR. Okay, we'll need NCR. So int n r and m. Okay, printf Pascal's triangle up to which level? Okay, so you want it up to which level? Up to n equal to what? N equal to 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that will take as an input, and then we will write this line. Required Pascal's triangle is. So the first one we printed by default. The first line is only 1, so we print it, and from the second line onwards we make use of this MCR. Okay, so for m equal to 1, m less than or equal to n, m plus plus. So we need 2 for loops, because for each m from 1 to n, the function the loop will run from r equal to 0 to m. Okay, so that's why 2 loops are required. For r equal to 0, r less than or equal to m, r plus plus, printf %ld. Okay, so we have taken it as long int. Okay, because factorials are very large numbers. So %ld \t factorial m by factorial r into factorial m minus r. Okay, so this is the definition for the expression for MCR. Okay, this is what we need to print, and then there is a printf \n symbol. After printing one line, okay, we will go to the next line. Okay, that is how it occurs. So this is the program for the factorial. We have already seen this. Int f1, int f equal to 1 I. If x not equal to 0, then for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to x, I plus plus, f equal to f star I. Okay, so this happens, returns f. Right, so that way we can write this program. So let us see how it runs. /program 44 function. Okay, Pascal's triangle up to which level? Say up to 5 level. So 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 3 3 1 1 4 6 4 1. Okay, 1 5 10 10 5 1. Okay, say Pascal's level up to level 7, so it will print up to 7C0 7C1 7C2 like that. Okay, so this is how we run this program. Okay, so let us see another one. Say this one. I think I don't remember the program number. It's program 45. Yeah, program 45 sine.c. Okay, gedit program 45. So to compute the value of sin x using the sine series. Okay, sine.c. Let us see how to do that. Program to find the value of x, sin x using the series x minus x cube by factorial 3, x to the power 5 by factorial 5, up to a desired level of accuracy. Okay, we will see how to do that. So include stdio.h. So here we will need a function, this header file math.h. Okay, so void main integer I equal to 1, float x, sin x equal to, we initialize sin x to be 0. Okay, and then we will use this variable term, then this ACC will represent the accuracy, that is the absolute error. Okay, we already have a function to compute sine inside the C itself, inbuilt function, right? So this is already there, our library function, it's already there, sine of x, sine bracket x. Okay, so we will compare with that inbuilt function. We will compare our series sum with that inbuilt function. Okay, so that is why we are asking for what is the desired level of accuracy. Okay, that is the absolute error limit. Okay, and so initialize term to x, the first term is x. Okay, we initialize term to x, and then let us start a loop. Okay, so I am using a do while loop. So sin x, initial value of sin x is 0. So in the first run of the loop, sin x will take the value of sin x plus term. Okay, so I get the term x. Okay, so initially the value of sin x is x, and then you see that each term is obtained from the previous term by multiplying by minus x square by say the first term, the second term is obtained by multiplying by minus x square by 2 into 3, right? Then the third term is obtained by multiplying the second term by minus x square by 4 into 5. Okay, and that's what happens. So if I equal to 1, this the next term is obtained by multiplying with x square by I plus 1 into I plus 2. Okay, and then the value of I increases by 2. Okay, the next value of I will be increased by 2. Okay, and this loop will continue as long as so here I have used a function, library function FABS. FABS will give us the absolute value. Okay, FABS gives the absolute value of x, that is mod x. Okay, it will give the value of mod x. Alright, so we will continue this loop as long as the absolute value of the difference between sin x, this is the inbuilt function, library function, and this is our computed value. Sin x without the bracket is our computed value. As long as this value remains greater than the required level of accuracy, okay, we will continue this, right? So, and then the last line, after this loop exits, we will print sin of %f equal to %0.8. I have taken up to 8 places of decimal. Okay, so %0.8f backslash n x comma sin x. Okay, so this is how we can compute this series, right? So let us see what happens. / program 45 sin. Okay, so the value of x, let us take it as pi. Sin pi is 0, so our answer should be something close to 0, 3.14159. okay, so this is a number which approximates pi. So let us see what is the, we have to enter the absolute error limit. So suppose I don't want the difference to be more than 0.00001. okay, so I want that the absolute error should not exceed this. Okay, so as long as the error keeps is greater than this, the program will keep on running. When the error becomes less than this, it will give you the final answer. Okay, so the answer is sin of 3.14159 is 0.0000005 zeros followed with 175. Okay, so you can in fact check. Okay, let us run and once more. Say 1.5. It's like pi by 2. Sin pi by 2 is 1. It should be something close to 1. Okay, 0.00001. Okay, so it's 0.99749500. Okay, it's quite close to 1. Right, so that way it runs. So in fact you can check what is the actual computed value. So let me just write here. You can check what is the value as per the C. As per C, what is the value? It is percent, say 0.8f comma sin of x. Okay, let us see what is the value. GCC program 45 sin dot c dash o program 45 sin. Okay, this one. Okay, there is some error here. Program 45 sin dash lm. I have to give one dash lm here. Library math. Okay, so dot slash program 45 sin. So it's say 3.14159. So this is the value that we have calculated, the first one, and as per C the value is 0.000254. okay, so it's quite close, right? Let us see another one, say 1.5 the value of x, and I want the accuracy to be 0.001. okay, so see, it's as per C it is 0.9974999. okay, so that's quite close. So this is how we can write this program. Okay, program to compute the value of sin x using the series this. Okay, so the similar program we can write it for cos, calculate the cosine. Okay, let us see, gedit program 46 cosine dot c. Okay, this was the program. You can write this, try writing it yourself. If you can't, you please take help from here. So it's almost the same. The series for cosine is actually 1 minus x square by factorial 2 plus x to the power 4 by factorial 4. So each term is obtained by multiplying with x square by I into I plus 1. Okay, so this is what is happening. So everything else is same. Okay, so you can just check this. 46 say x 3.14159. Cos pi is -1, so it should be close to -1. Okay, say this is the error limit, so it's -1.0000 something like that. Okay, so it's quite close. Okay, so this is what we get. Okay, now let us see another one. Sine, cos we have done. 46, 47, yeah, diagonal. Let us see how to compute the diagonal or how to display the diagonals of a diagonal elements of a matrix. Okay, program to extract the diagonal entries of a matrix. Okay, so we are given a of a square matrix. Okay, so we are given a square matrix, so you take the square matrix as input. Okay, these things will give you input. You write what is the matrix and then extract the diagonal entries. How to extract diagonal entries? So what are the diagonal entries? The entries for which I is equal to j. Okay, so the diagonal entries are for I equal to 0, I less than and I plus plus, printf %d \t a I I. Okay, so this will give you the diagonal entries. Okay, so let's try it. Dot slash program 47 diagonal. Okay, so say I enter a 3 by 3 matrix, 1 2 3 4 5 6 0 1 2. Okay, so the diagonal entries are 1 5 and 2, right? So this is one program. Another one, let us see. 48, program 48, say trace. Program to find the trace of a square matrix. What is meant by trace? Trace is the sum of the diagonal elements. Okay, if you have a square matrix, the sum of the diagonal elements is the trace. So up to this everything is same, and after that you should find out the sum of the diagonal elements. Okay, so for that I am using a variable here, trace equal to 0. We initialize trace to 0, and then trace takes the value of trace plus aii. Okay, it will just add up the diagonal elements. Okay, so it's quite simple, it's not that difficult. So how this program runs, dot slash program 48 trace. Okay, so enter the order of the matrix, say this one 4 5. Okay, so the trace is 6, 4 plus 2 plus 0. Okay, so it's 6. So this is your program. As of now I don't have anything else here. We have already seen what are the programs for recursion and for call by reference. So as of now, if I get some other programs, then of course I'll let you know. So as of now our course is over for computer programming in C. I will also start with your number theory, that is combinatorics. I was doing the 3rd unit, so I'll continue with that, counting principles and all. Okay, we'll try to continue with that because lockdown is yet to end, right? For colleges will not open before 17th May. Okay, so let us continue with our online classes only. So if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. Okay, and please do the programs. Okay, I don't know how many of you are doing. Please do it. Thank you.